Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Resinator's Conquest podcast. This episode's all about the Dweghom. Unfortunately, this episode is going to be a little bit shorter than the other episodes, as I don't really play Dweghom all that much. Well, I still haven't even played a game of Dweghom yet. I've just received the pieces, and I'm still assembling them, so I don't even have all of my army assembled at the moment. So, I don't have a lot of experience playing with them, but I have some experience playing against them. So, most of my knowledge and most of my input on the Dweghom is going to be about playing against them. So let's move on to the count. For my Dweghom army, it's still a fledgling army at the moment. I only have a hold ray for the characters. So for the regiments, I have a Flame Berserker regiment, a Hold Thane regiment, and I have a Dragon Slayer regiment. The Dragon Slayers are not assembled at the moment. Now for the state of my army. So the one regiment that I still have not even worked on at all is the Dragon Slayers. I haven't touched them at all. They're still in the box that I haven't received them in. The Flame Berserkers are assembled, and I just need to prime them. Have a good flame technique that I've been using for a while now, and I think it'll work really great on those Flame Berserkers, but I need to get them primed and then find some time to work on those. And the whole things, they're completely assembled. I even put the shields on them, so I decided not to do any kind of a sub-assembly and just paint them as is, and probably try to do a quick paint on them. And they're also primed, so they're the only. The hold ray is actually a primed, assembled, and also broken. Unfortunately, when I was priming it, I dropped the thing twice on cement, and it was perfectly fine. And it's a resin model, and I was expecting, the first time I dropped it, it was a good, like 6 feet maybe that it fell. But it did not break anything, and it's a resin. I was expecting it to be a little bit more brittle compared to plastic, and I was really surprised. The second time, I was really amazed that I didn't do any kind of damage to it. Then the third time I dropped it was actually inside on the hardwood floors, and that broke in 3 different places. I still don't know where the antler went, so he's got a broken antler on one side. I don't even know which side it was, but I just thought it was funny that I dropped it twice on cement, and it didn't do anything, but dropping it once on hardwood floors snapped it. So as for the basing, I'm not even close to thinking about basing yet, but I'll probably try to do some kind of a dungeony, maybe kind of a theme. I'm not sure though, so on to the favorite characters and regiments. So as I've mentioned earlier, I don't actually play this army. I haven't played a single game yet. But playing against them, I have to say there's 2 main regiments that I just don't like playing against, and I think they're going to be really nasty to play with once I have them. Number 1 is the Dragon Slayers. They're just incredibly tough. Their hardened ability, which gets rid of some of the cleave and armor piercing that comes onto them, is just amazing. On top of the fact that they have, I think it's like a 3 defense with a shield, or something ridiculous like that. They have like a cleave 2 or 3 or something like that. I'm not even sure exactly. All I remember is that every time I've gone up against them, they've just done some devastating amount of damage to me, and they just walk through me. And I've had them go up against my Steel Legion, and they just destroyed my Steel Legion. And I thought, the Steel Legion are relatively the same amount of points, but with that hardened ability, it makes them really hard to contend with. So the Dragon Slayers are a nasty bit of a regiment. The other thing was the Helldrake. I really like the model aesthetic of the model in general, where you have this big kind of drakish, brutish monster with the big cannons on it. And I think that was another thing that I think the whole ballistas that they have with the cannons. I just think that's a cool aesthetic, especially for the whole fantasy style that the whole game is around. So and then when you add the sorceress on top of that Helldrake, man, there's spells that are going off, and just he's coming in and shooting you too, and it's a barrage. I was thinking one time when I played against him with a chapter mage as a warlord that the enemy interference would help, but there's a barrage on top of the, their spells that they do. So it's just hard to kind of fight against, and it's a big moving shooting platform. That's what it basically is. It's a monster that's hard to kill. Most monsters are hard to take out without a really strong regiment to either shoot at them or melee with them. So those are the two regiments that I really enjoy playing against, and I know that once I have them on the field, I'll enjoy playing with. Moving on to favorite rules. Unfortunately, I don't know the Dweghom rules that well, so I don't really have any favorite rules. So, unfortunately, no favorite rules. Moving on to playstyle. Well, again, this is going to be a little short because I don't have a playstyle at this point. I don't even have a full army to play Last Argument of Kings. I have enough to play a loose game of First Blood. I'd have to take a lot of the Flame Berserkers and whole things and Dragon Slayers. But, I could do it, and I eventually will, once I get the Dragon Slayers together, I'll probably start doing some First Blood testing and just playing around with them to figure out what my playstyle is going to be with them. But from the way I've played against them, I think I like that movement that they have, that they can move extra farther, especially I think with the Hold Ray. With a special thing that he gets. I'm not sure what it was, but I remember some people making them, all their units move faster, especially the ones that he's in, and one of the special characters. So I like that kind of, fast-moving, aggressive style, and I think I want more of those Helldrake, or I want a Helldrake, and maybe like two of them just kind of go out the battlefield, and one on each side. So I think that's going to be we'll see where my playstyle is going to develop after I start actually playing with them. So hopefully when I do this series again, maybe next year sometime, especially when the city states are out, that I'll have more to talk about with the Dweghom. So sorry, I don't really have a playstyle. The future of my army. So as I've mentioned several times, it's the fledgling army, so I definitely have to get some more of the staples, some of the ranged volley guys, the ballistas, I believe they are, and then I want at least one Helldrake, maybe two, and then we'll see from there. I don't really know exactly where I want to go. I think once I start playing with them a little bit more and just kind of get the feel of them, I'll figure out exactly where I want to go with how to build an army and how I want to kind of work with my army going forward. So, sorry there wasn't too much for this episode, but thank you for joining me. And next week we're going to talk about the Wadroon, and there's definitely going to be a longer video for that one because I do play the Wadroon and I've been playing them for a while, and I do enjoy them a lot. They're a fun faction to play with a lot of great aesthetics. So, we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me.